Namaskaram, Chapter 4, Story of Sage Bharatha. On the sacred bank of the river Ganga lies the holy city of Kashi. There at the revered temple of Lord Vishwanath lived a great saint named Bharatha. Every day with deep devotion and unwavering faith, he would recite the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Once while travelling on pilgrimage, Bharatha visited the town of Tapodana to have the darshan of Lord Krishna. After completing his worship and preparing to depart, he entered a grove of bale trees. Feeling fatigued, he decided to rest beneath their shade. Using the root of one tree as a pillow and the root of another to support his feet, he laid down for a while. After resting, he quietly continued his journey. However, soon after Bharata left that place, the two trees beneath which he had rested began to wither. Within 5 or 6 days, both trees completely dried up and died. The two souls residing in those trees were thus released and took their next birth as daughters of a very pious Brahmin. When the girls reached the age of 7, they set out on pilgrimage to Kashi. While wandering through the holy city, they happened to behold the great sage Bharata. The moment they saw him, they fell at his feet and in gentle words said, "O revered sage Bharata, by your mercy we were liberated from our life in the form of trees." Hearing this, sage Bharata was astonished. He asked them, "My dear daughters, where and when did I come into contact with you and free you from such a condition? I know nothing of this matter. Please explain." Thereupon the two girls narrated the story. "O great sage, on the bank of the river Godavari, there is a sacred place called Chinnapapa. There lived a great rishi named Sachatapa who performed extremely severe austerities. During the scorching summer, he would sit surrounded by blazing fire, and during the biting winter, he would stand immersed in the cold water of the river. Over time, he purified himself completely, gained full control over his senses, and attained the lotus feet of the Supreme. Because of his exalted spiritual position, Lord Brahma himself would visit Sachatapa daily and inquire from him about the principles of devotion to the Lord. Seeing this, Lord Indra became fearful, thinking that the sage might one day win over his throne and become the king of the heaven. Out of this anxiety, Indra summoned us, who at that time were apsaras in the heavenly realms, and ordered us to disturb the sage's austerities. Obeying his command, we went to the banks of the river Godavari, where Sachatapa was engaged in his penance. There we sang and danced provocatively near him, intending to entice him into the life of sensual pleasure. While dancing, our garments slipped and our bodies became exposed, making anyone to be seductive of our appearance. But at that moment, the sage, without being distracted by our appearance, took water in his hand, pronounced a curse, "May you both become bale trees on the bank of the river Ganga." Struck with fear, we immediately fell at his feet and begged for forgiveness, explaining that we were merely servants of Lord Indra. Seeing our humility, the sage became compassionate and told us that although we would remain in the form of trees, our bondage would end when sage Bharata came in contact with us. He also blessed us with the ability to remember our previous lives. O sage Bharata, when you rested beneath us in Tapodana, you were reciting the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. By hearing that sacred recitation, we were freed from our existence as trees, reborn into a family of devotees, and completely freed from all desire for material enjoyment. After hearing this extraordinary account, Sage Bharatha was filled with joy and returned to his ashram. The two girls thereafter spent their entire lives daily reciting the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita and in due course attained pure devotion at the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. The conclusion. This sacred narrative reveals the incomparable power of the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It teaches that sincere recitation and attentive hearing of this divine teaching can liberate even those bound in the lowest forms of existence, purify the heart of all worldly desires, and lead the soul unfailingly towards devotion and final liberation at the feet of the Supreme. Narayana, Narayana.